Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 27, text number 7. Yemad Vijnana Jagat Ishamaninas Tam Vikshakare Vayam Ashutan Madam Idvarya Margam Ravajanya Pasmaya Iha Kalanam Apite Nushasanam Yadmag Vijnanam Jagat Ishamaninas Tam Vikshakare Mayam Astan Madam Hidvarya Margam Prabhajantyam Masvaya Iha Kalanam Videnu Sasanam Ninmad Bidhangyam Jagat Ishamaninas Dambik Shikare Mayam Asutan Madam Hidvarya Margam Prabhajantyam Asmaya Iha Kalanam Apitenu Sasanam. Vinagyam Varishamanina Vikshakale Vayamasutan Madam Hidvarya Margam Prabhajantyam Asmaya Iha Kalanam Apitenu Sasanam. Yadmad Vihagya Jagadishamaninas Tam Vikshakale Bhayamasutan Madam Hidvarya Magam Bhavajantya Pashyama Iha Kalanam Abhidenu Sasanam. Yemad Vidhagya Jagadishamaninas Tam Vikshakale Bhayamasutan Madam Hidvarya Magam Prabhajantya Pashyamaya Iha Kalanam Abhitenu Sasanam. Mataji's. Yemad Vidhagya Jagadishamaninas Tam Vikshakale Vayam Asutam Madam Hidvarya Magam Prabhajantya Pasmaya Iha Kalanam Abhitenu Sasanam. Yea, those who Madvidha, like me, Agya, foolish persons, Jagat Isha, as lords of the universe, Maninaha, falsely identifying themselves, Tvam, you, Viksha, seen, Kale, at the time, or At time of fear. Abhayam, fearless. Asu, quickly. Tat, there. Madam, false pride. Hitva, abandoning. Arya, of devotees progressing in spiritual life. Margam, the path. Prabhajanti, they take to fully. Apasmaya, free of pride. Iha, the activity. Kalanam, of the wicked. Api, indeed. Te, by you. Anusasanam, the instruction. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Even fools like me, who proudly think themselves universal lords, quickly give up their conceit and directly take to the path of spiritually progressive when they see you are fearless even in the face of time. Thus, you punish the mischievous only to instruct them. Purport. History is filled with examples of the supreme authority breaking the conceit of foolish men. Modern world leaders proudly fight one another, placing the common people in unprecedented jeopardy. Similarly, Indra, proud of his apparently illustrious position, dared to threaten the lives of the innocent residents of Vrindavan with terrible weapons until his arrogance was curbed by the dynamic response of the Supreme Lord. Nowadays, governments in the Western countries tend to be elected democratically, and thus the mass of people become identified with the destiny of their leaders. When the proud leaders engage in violence, the people who elected them bear the brunt of such belligerent decisions. Thus, the people in the democratic nations of the world should elect Krishna-conscious leaders who will establish an administration consonant with the laws of God. If they fail to do so, their materialistic leaders, oblivious to the will of the Supreme Lord, will undoubtedly be chastised by the cataclysmic events, and the people who elected such leaders, being responsible for their leaders' acts, will share in the suffering. It is ironic that in modern democracies, not only do the leaders consider themselves universal controllers, but the mass of people, considering the leaders merely their representatives rather than the representatives of God, also consider themselves as a people to be the controllers of their nation. Thus, the chastisement mentioned in this verse has become unprecedentedly applicable to people in general in the modern world. Modern man should not simply make himself a lesson of nature by falling down from his proud position. Rather, he should submissively execute the will of the all-attractive personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, Sri Krishna, and usher in a new era of sanity, tranquility, and widespread enlightenment. Jai. Om Jnanatimanandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshum Tamnena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Kodavachalang Pangundang Haite Grim Yat Kripa Talaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakapa Tubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here we're seeing how Indra has become humbled. He has a very big position. He's the the king of the heavenly planets. And sometimes when you're in a big position, it kind of goes to your head. So this was the situation with Indra. He forgot who the boss is. Who's the boss? Krishna. Krishna's everyone's boss. The name for the boss is Kartam Isha, means the supreme boss. In this world, everybody has some boss, but Krishna, he is the supreme boss, and he's a good boss. He's a good boss. Just like sometimes devotees, they go out on book distribution, and they might distribute maybe 1 or 2 books, and sometimes no book. They go out all day, and no book distributed. Anybody here ever have that experience? Oh my goodness, quite a few. But still, Krishna's pleased with you. Krishna's the only boss that you go out and you work all day long, no result, and he's still pleased with you. Why? Because you tried. Because you tried. So Krishna, he is the best boss. And even though Indra, he caused such a disturbance, he actually was trying to kill everyone in Vrindavan. The cows, the cowherd boys, the gopis, Krishna's father and mother, the elderly gopis. He was trying to kill everybody by flooding the whole of Vrindavan with the Sangvartaka cloud, which is the cloud of devastation. So he wasn't a very nice person, to say the least. So Krishna thought, I'll just kill him. But then he thought, I'll just chastise him, because after all, he is a demigod, king of heaven. So he just chastised him by lifting Govardhan Hill and using it as an umbrella. In the world, sometimes they have these weightlifting competition. Yeah, I just looked it up. The most weight ever lifted over the head recently, the world record was broken, 1,124 pounds. That's somewhere over 500 kilos. But Krishna, actually, he holds the world record, undisputed. I don't know how many tons the Govardhan Hill weighed at that time, but it was heavy, very heavy. And when these weightlifters, when they lift this weight, I mean, they're straining. Imagine trying to lift 1,100 pounds over your head. I mean, he is straining, and sometimes the weights, they fall down. And sometimes they even fall down on the person. But Krishna, nonchalantly, pinky of his left hand, lifted Govardhan Hill. That's strength. And some of the cowherd boys and cowherd men, they said, Krishna, you know, you've been lifting the hill for so long. How many days? 7 days. Krishna, you've been lifting it for so long. Take a rest. We'll lift it for a while, okay? You see the cowherd men, they got their sticks. We see some pictures sometimes. And they got the sticks there holding. And Krishna just let a fraction of the weight of Govardhan Hill go on the cowherd men's sticks. And then they said, okay, Krishna, you've rested enough, now you can take it again. Then Krishna took it some more. So this is Krishna, this is God. Sometimes people, they claim to be God. It's not an uncommon thing that yogis, they go to America and, you're God, I'm God. I was distributing books recently in California, and one homeless person came by riding his bike. And he said, which group are you with? I said, I'm a Hare Krishna. He said, oh yeah. You're Krishna, I'm Krishna, we're all Krishna. But I think Krishna is a little more attractive. Krishna is the most beautiful. Madhuram Madhuram, Apshir Vibor, Madhuram Madhuram, Varanam Madhuram. Madhugandhi Mridus, Madham Etadaho, Madhuram Madhuram, Madhuram Madhuram. That the form of Krishna is very, very attractive, very beautiful. More beautiful than the form is the face. More beautiful than the face is it's called his honey sweet smile. The smile of Krishna is very attractive. So Krishna is the most attractive. And Indra, here he's playing with fire. He didn't know what he was doing. He just thought Krishna was some, as he said, a talkative young boy. Talkative young boy. Who was this? And why? Why did he do this? Because he didn't get the sacrifice that the resident of Vrindavan usually offered to him. So he was attached. So Krishna, he very much humbled Indra. Instead, that a devotee of the Lord never thinks that the services he does is action under his own control, but they are expressions of Krishna's supreme mercy. Mahadbir bhakti nishtaisa, the swaniniti manyate. I'll repeat that. This is a verse by Narada Muni. Devotees of the Lord never think that the services they do are actions under their own control, but they are expressions of Krishna's supreme mercy. Whatever we're able to do is by the mercy of Krishna, not our will, not our willpower. And Krishna says in the Gita that there's 5 factions of action. And that is, number 1, the super soul, which is most important. Right? Without the super soul, without his sanction, we can't do anything. The soul. If there's no soul, we can't do anything. Just like I'm here speaking to you. But if I, the soul, were to leave this body right now, then what would happen to the body? It would just lay down dead. Because I am a soul within. And because I, the soul, am in this body, therefore I'm able to move and speak. And without the soul, there's no action. Then there's the endeavor. If we don't endeavor, it's like there's people that are called couch potatoes. You know, they sit in their living room and they just watch television all day long. They're called couch potatoes. Yeah. Just don't do anything. So you got the super soul, you got the soul, you got the endeavor, you got the body. If there's no body, you can't do anything. Right? And then there's the senses. So there's the 5 factors of action. So the more we connect with the super soul, the more our action becomes very sublime. And therefore, it's so important that we have good sadhana, because it's by this good sadhana that we are inspired to act nicely for Krishna. So Indra, here he's getting a lesson in humility. He very much became humbled by this. And in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he taught 4 qualities through 4 different people. And humility he taught through Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami was very, very humble. Although he was so intelligent, he knew many languages. Very intelligent. He was a minister under the Nawab Hussain Shah. And Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, actually they were forced into that, because the Nawab, he said, if you don't come and work under me with my government, then I'm going to harass the Brahmanas in Navadvip. So it was blackmail. If you don't help me, then watch and see what happens. So they were forced. That's why they became ministers under the Nawab Hussain Shah. She was very capable. And even the Muslim leaders understood this. His glories even got to the Muslim leaders. He was very, very qualified. But then he got word of the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, him and Rupa Goswami. So they wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya, understanding that he's the Supreme Lord. So when he went before Lord Chaitanya, he said, Kayami, who am I? They say I'm so intelligent, but I don't know who I am. Kayami, who am I? So Lord Chaitanya, he spoke to Sanatana Goswami for 2 months, preached to him for 2 months. Such mercy. You know? And from that he did so much writing. But at one point he got this he got some disease. But Lord Chaitanya was so fond of Sanatana Goswami that Lord Chaitanya would embrace him, even though he had all these sores on his body, you know, pus and blood. And Sanatana Goswami felt so terrible that Lord Chaitanya would embrace him. He would try to back away, but Lord Chaitanya, he would embrace him. And then he decided, what is the use of this body? It's so diseased, and now Lord Chaitanya is embracing this body. He said, better I commit suicide. So he had a plan to commit suicide, to fall under the wheel of Jagannath Rathayatra cart. But Lord Chaitanya said to him, this body doesn't belong to you. Your body belongs to me. And I had many plans with your body. You can't kill your body. It's not yours to do as you like. So Sanatana Goswami could understand that the Lord is omniscient. He didn't tell anybody, but the Lord knew that he had planned to give up his body because it was causing such a disturbance. So then Lord Chaitanya, he removed the disease and he was healthy again. So he was very, very humble. Another person he taught through was Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy, he was a Sudra, but he got word from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that this Ramananda Roy, he's very, very devoted to Krishna, and you would very much appreciate meeting him. But he was also like he was a big leader in the government of King Prataparudra. So Lord Chaitanya was here also. It was in South India, and he went to a place where Ramananda Roy was, and he was such a big person that so many people, so many brahmanas and so many people would follow him wherever he would go. He was such a big personality. So they met, and when Lord Chaitanya saw him, his mind was it's described that his mind was running after him because he was such a great devotee, but he controlled himself. And then Ramananda Roy, he saw him, and so he went to Lord Chaitanya, and they embraced. Because Ramananda Roy is a great personality from the spiritual world. Anybody remember who Ramananda Roy is in Krishna Lila? Huh? Vishaka. Yes. So, and Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna Nahiyanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna, Radha Krishna. So Vishaka, meeting with Krishna again, so big meeting, auspicious. But then Lord Chaitanya saw all these people around also, and Ramananda Roy also, they controlled themselves. But the Brahmanas were surprised because Lord Chaitanya, he's a sannyasi, but he's embracing the Sudra. So then they spoke for a while, and Lord Chaitanya said, I want you to come to Puri. I want you to retire and come to Puri. So he did that, and so many amazing, wonderful pastimes. It's described that there's 3.5 persons who were very dear to Lord Chaitanya. Swarup Damodar, Sikimahiti, Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, Sikimahiti, Ramananda Roy, and Madhavi. Yes, Madhavi. These were very dear to Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, these personalities. So Ramananda Roy was such a transcendental person that he would arrange these dramas, and sometimes he would have to touch the bodies of young girls, and he would touch their private parts, even naked. But it's described that it was like he was touching wood. Like touching wood. Does anybody ever get agitated touching wood? But he just saw it, it's just matter, just material. It's just a body, it's just matter. Nobody's excited about touching matter, right? Like you touch a table, nobody's excited. So the body, it's just matter, just like wood. So he was completely transcendental. So through Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya taught that one can become free of sex desire with higher consciousness. With devotional service, one can overcome sex desire. And then he taught through Damodar Pandit. Damodar Pandit was a very dear devotee of Lord Chaitanya. There's one pastime where there was a young boy, he would come and he would visit Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, he would talk to him. And the boy would come every day and they would talk. But Damodar Pandit, he was very concerned because this boy, he was the son of a widowed lady, a young, attractive widowed lady. So Damodar Pandit thought, if Lord Chaitanya keeps seeing this boy, people are going to start talking because he's associated with this boy who's the son of an attractive young widowed lady. So he instructed Lord Chaitanya that, my Lord, this is not good. People will talk. People will talk because you're associating with this young boy who's the son of this attractive lady. So indirectly, Prabhupada says in the purport, Damodar Pandit, he was criticizing Lord Chaitanya. Indirectly. So Lord Chaitanya, the next day, he said, you know, Damodar Pandit, I think it would be good if you go to Navadvip and you spend some time with Sachi Mata. Go there and tell her of my activities here. So he got a little chastised by that. But he knew that if he goes there, then the other devotees in Navadvip, they'll be very strict because they know Damodar Pandit. So he taught about constructive criticism, Damodar Pandit. And then the last one that Lord Chaitanya taught through was Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was of a Muslim family, but he was Namacharya Haridas Thakur. He was the authority on chanting the holy name. And he would chant 300,000 names a day, which is about 192 rounds. We chant 16, and sometimes devotees can't do that, and struggling to do that. Imagine chanting 192. One time on Gaur Purnima, I chanted 108 rounds. And that means I woke up at 2 o'clock and I chanted all day long to chant 108. I don't know, I can't imagine how he was able to chant 192. And it's described that he would chant 64 rounds very loudly, 64 rounds softly, and 64 rounds in his mind. So he was a very special devotee. And there were some Muslims, the Muslim leaders, Navadvip was actually being run somehow by the Muslims. And they didn't like that this Muslim had become a Hare Krishna. So they caught him and they put him on trial and asked, why is it that you've taken up this path of Hinduism? You're so fortunate to be born in a Muslim family. Why have you degraded to a Hindu? And Haridas Thakur, he laughed. He said, isn't it amazing how the illusory energy of God works? You're thinking you're Muslim, he's Hindu, he's black, he's white. We're all spirit soul. We're all part of the Supreme Lord. God doesn't think, oh, he's Hindu, he's Muslim, he's Christian. We're all spirit soul. We're all part of God. We're all servants of God. How has this illusion come upon you? And besides that, so many Muslims become Hindus. So what's the big deal? One Muslim becomes a Hindu. What's the big deal? And they couldn't appreciate that argument. So then they decided that he should be punished. He should be beaten in 22 marketplaces. So 2 people took him and they're beating him. Now Lord Chaitanya, again, he's the omniscient Lord, and he thought, these rascals, these demons, I'm going to kill them. So he took up his chakra to kill these 2 demons that were beating Haridas Thakur. But the chakra couldn't go, because what is Haridas Thakur doing? He's praying to Lord Chaitanya, please, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They're in ignorance. They don't know that this is wrong. Please forgive them. And give them your mercy. Please give them your mercy. So the chakra couldn't go and cut their heads off because of the tolerance of Haridas Thakur. So then what did Lord Chaitanya do? He got on the back. Subtly, Haridas Thakur didn't know. And all the beatings are coming upon Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haridas Thakur is not being beaten. And what is Haridas Thakur doing? He's chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was very tolerant. And then after 22 marketplaces, he's still happily chanting Hare Krishna. And these 2 demons that are trying to kill him, now they're lamenting. And Haridas Thakur said, why are you lamenting? What's wrong? And they said, well, we're supposed to kill you. We didn't kill you, so now we're going to be punished. Oh, okay, I don't want you to be punished, all right. So he went into total samadhi, practically breathless, lifeless. So then, oh, good, he's dead. All right, good. Let's take him to to the leaders and show he's dead. So they took him, laid his body in front. All right, he's dead. We did our duty. So they decide, what should we do with him? Should we bury him, throw him in the river? What should we do? And they said, no, you can't bury him. That's a respectable way to do it. Just throw him in the river. So they threw him in the river. And Haridas, he's still in samadhi. He's floating down the river. And finally he comes out of samadhi and he's swimming down. He goes to the bank and he continues chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he went right back to the leaders, the Muslim leaders, and he was chanting Hare Krishna. And then they're thinking, how's that? He was dead. He was lifeless. How is it you're alive? And he said, Krishna's taking care of me. And then they said, listen, Haridas, you just do as you like. We're not going to bother you anymore. You must be some saintly person. Just do as you like. So Haridas Thakur went on chanting Hare Krishna. So this is Haridas Thakur, very tolerant. And there's another instance where he was in one village. He was staying in a cave, and many people were coming and getting his darshan because it was known that he is a great saintly person. So there was one person who was envious of Haridas Thakur, one Hindu, and he wanted to reveal to everybody that actually he's an impostor. So he got some prostitutes. He gathered some prostitutes and explained that there's one person here in the area. He's acting like he's some saintly person, but I know it's just he's just a pretender. So I want one of you to go and show that he's just a pretender. And one of them took it up. Okay, I'll go. And this leader said, all right, and we'll bring some police. She said, no. First, let me be with him, and then you can bring the police. So she went to the cave, and she's doing different postures in front of him, and she's very attractive. So he's chanting Hare Krishna, and she says, oh, Haridas, you're so young, you're so beautiful. What woman would not be attracted to you? Please, I want to be with you. And he said, yeah, no problem. I just got a few rounds to chant. So if you could just sit and I'll be with you. Just get a few rounds to chant here. So he's chanting. And then it becomes sunrise. And he's still chanting. And she becomes a little bit flustered. And Haridas says, oh, I'm sorry, I just have this vow, but listen, tomorrow I'll fulfill your desire. Come tomorrow. And she says, okay. So she comes back, and he's still chanting. And he says, okay, no problem, I just got a few more rounds to chant. And then she's sitting, and she's hearing the chanting. Imagine hearing the chanting of Haridas Thakur, the purest chanting, such a great devotee. So eventually she becomes purified, and she admits to Haridas, actually I was sent here to degrade your character. And he said, yeah, I know that. This fool there, he was trying to show that I'm actually not a devotee. But he is just a fool. But I stayed because I wanted to make you a devotee. And she also became a great devotee, chanting 192 rounds a day. She became such a great Vaishnavi that people would come and they would give. They would give, just like saintly people. People hear about a saintly person, they come and they give gifts, they give food and they give money and they give different things. So she became a great saintly lady. So this is Haridas Thakur. And then, later, Maya herself personification of Maya herself came to also test Haridas Thakur. And she was also doing different poses in front of Haridas Thakur. Now she's Maya personified, so we cannot imagine how beautiful she was. Don't imagine. Very, very beautiful. But Haridas Thakur, he just saw it as, like Ramananda Roy, just wood. It's just matter. Just matter. There's nothing there attractive. What is attractive is Krishna. Krishna is so attractive. It's said that asadama sadgama. Don't stay in this place of illusion. So much illusion in this world. This is the place of Maya. Maya just means illusion. Why stay in this place of illusion? Better to go to the place where there's only reality. That's the spiritual world. It's just reality. Everybody has spiritual bodies. Everybody is serving Krishna with love. This is the place to be. This material world, it's not a nice place. Tamasima Jyotirgama. Why stay in this place of darkness? So much darkness in this world. Better to go to that place where there's light. It's described as the spiritual world. The planets, they're self-effulgent. They're self-effulgent. You don't need a sun. You don't need light. Everything is self-effulgent. And Prabhupada says in one purport that in the spiritual world, everything is alive. The trees, the houses, everything speaks. All the animals, the trees, everything is conscious. There's no gross matter in the spiritual world. Everything is alive. But what is most attractive about the spiritual world is Krishna is there. Most attractive. So attractive. You can't imagine how wonderful the spiritual world is. There's kapavriksha trees. Now here, if you have a mango tree, you get mangoes. But from the kapavriksha tree, you can get samosas, you can get gulab jamans, you can get all kinds of nice things. And there's chintamani gems, also wish fulfilling, whatever you want. So this is the spiritual world. Very attractive. Mrityuma amritugama. Why stay in this place of death? Just like recently, just within the last week, 3 Prabhupada disciples have passed away. Ranjit and Bhadranayan Mars and one other. There was one other devotee that recently passed away. So they're all, we're all lined up. We're all lined up. We're all going to leave this body. It's a place of death. But there is a place where there is no death. That's the spiritual world. We could live eternally. So it's a very nice neighborhood, the spiritual world. This world, even though one may be in a very, very prosperous situation, very wealthy, so much money and so much opulence, still there's also suffering. There was not long ago there was one comedian. He was one of the most famous comedians in the world, multi-millionaire, committed suicide. But some time before he committed suicide, a devotee gave him books. So he got a number of Srila Prabhupada's books. So hopefully he read some. He definitely benefited. He gave a donation and got some of Prabhupada's books. So that means next life he gets an opportunity to take up devotional service. So this book distribution is so important. Prabhupada said, if someone just touches the book, they benefit. Because the book is not different than Krishna. Just like someone touches the deity, that's very auspicious, because it's Krishna. So the book is non-different than Krishna. So they just touch the book. Sometimes when I'm trying to distribute books to someone and they don't want to take the book, I try to just touch it. Sometimes they're so averse to spiritual life. No, I don't want to touch it. Something might happen. So I was distributing books one time, and I offered one to a young man. He said, no. I want to get married. I said, that's all right. You can still get married. No, I don't want to take a chance. I know you guys practice this celibacy. I don't want to take a chance. I might become a celibate monk. I don't want to do that. So no thanks. He knew the Shakti, the potency of Prabhupada's books. So, I don't know about that. So this is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that people can get a book and completely change their life. I was distributing books once in Australia. I was going door to door. Prabhupada says in his books, 90 times, door to door. So door to door is another nice way to distribute books. So I was distributing, and I knocked on the door, and a man answered the door, and he saw I had the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, no, I'm not interested. I worship Satan. I said, oh, okay. Well, this book, it's all about God. So you should know your enemy. He said, all right, good point. All right, I'll buy one. And he gave a nice donation. Hopefully he finds out that God, Krishna, is his best friend, and Satan is his enemy. I don't know if that happened, but anyway, he got a book, went into his house. So there's an instance of one person. This is in Los Angeles. He was very envious of devotees, and he would go by and he would break the windows. He would get rocks and he would break the windows of the temple. And this would happen, every few weeks. He'd break another window. So one time he came by and he broke another window. And one devotee said, I can't take it anymore. So he went running after this guy, and the guy's running away from the devotee. So the devotee catches up with him, and he's beating him. This is not recommended. But this person, he was actually impressed, because he thought the devotees were like sissies. Sissy? Sissy means a man that's like a girl. He just, you ever heard that word? Of course, the Americans, they know. Sissy means like a man that's like a girl. Don't know how to fight or anything, but this, he beat him pretty good. So then he was like, now he's impressed by the devotees. And then somehow he got a book, and he started reading the book. And he started thinking, man, this is good stuff. These guys got a good philosophy. So now he's more impressed. So then he heard about the Sunday feast programs. So he went to the temple, the Sunday feast, and the devotees were like very hesitant, because they knew this is the guy that breaks the windows. They got beat up by one. So he said, you guys may not believe this, but I got a book, and I read it and I like it. You guys aren't that bad after all. So if you don't mind, I'd like to participate in what you're doing here on this Sunday program. So they were a little hesitant, but they thought, well, Prabhupada could do anything. So devotees went to the side and they were talking, and they said, all right, they decided you can come, but we're going to be watching you. So he went in and he was participating. He started chanting Hare Krishna. and even danced. So the devotees are like, wow, this is amazing. A Jagai Madai has come, and now he's practicing Krishna consciousness. They were amazed. So he was coming. He started coming every Sunday. And then he started coming every day. He started chanting japa. Became a devotee. And he even became, believe it or not, he became one of the biggest book distributors in ISKCON. So this is the potency of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So yeah, we just have to get this knowledge out. I know here in Salem, you guys are very good at book distribution, but there's always room for improvement. We could always do more, right? We should always do more. And Prabhupada, he wanted devotees to dedicate their life to this. And Krishna says, prana artha dhyavacha. He says it's the duty of everyone to give their life for the benefit of others. And there's no better way to help people than to give them Krishna. No better way. So, and Prabhupada wanted, give your life. There's many devotees now, they've given, decades, 4 decades. Now we have a devotee named Bhrigupati Prabhu. He's 73 years old. Last year he was the #1 book distributor in the world. 73. He's been distributing books since 1973. Or, yeah, I think 73. Yeah. So he's been distributing books for 53 years. And he's ecstatic. He's very happy. Prabhupada wanted that we give our life. Now, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I've been distributing books for 48 years. And I have a friend in Australia, Rupa Raghunath. I was talking to him, and I said, Rupa, we should just go right into our 80s distributing Prabhupada's books. Why not? If we can still walk and we can still talk, let's distribute books right up into our 80s. He said, 80s? We should go right into our 90s. He's a little fired up. So why not? And Prabhupada said, if you distribute books to your last breath, I guarantee you, Lord Chaitanya is going to take you back home to Godhead. Haribol. So why not? We've been living in this world for how many lifetimes? Who knows? Sometimes millions, thousands, millions of lifetimes. Now we're so fortunate. We're in this Krishna consciousness movement, so we have this opportunity to go back home. Prabhupada said if you chant 16 rounds a day, you follow the 4 good principles, I guarantee you'll go back to Godhead. What to speak if you're also distributing books? So, highly recommended service. And I guarantee it, if you do it, if you dedicate your life to book distribution, you'll be very happy. You'll be very happy. You'll joyfully practice Krishna consciousness. And eventually you'll have you have to massage your face, smiling so much. So, any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu. I think there's a microphone coming.
Prabhu, we hear often that the devotees are more merciful than Krishna, but in this particular pastime, Krishna is like displaying extreme mercy. So how do you understand the devotee being more merciful?
Oh, okay. Well, Krishna was going to kill him. That was his first thought, because he's trying to kill all the residents of Vrindavan. He thought, I'll just be merciful to him and chastise him. So, that's mercy. That's the mercy of Krishna. Also, it's a good thing you brought that up, because yesterday I was explaining how a devotee is more merciful than Krishna, and I told you the story of Kala Krishnadas, how he he had been attracted to the Bhattaharis, and Lord Chaitanya, he saved him. It's described that he grabbed him by his hair and pulled him away from the Bhattaharis. Then when he got back to Navadvip, he told the devotees he has to leave. He became attracted to the gypsies, so he has to go. So he started crying. Kala Krishnadas, he started crying. But the devotees thought, well, wait a second, maybe there's some way we can engage him in service. So they thought, well, let's send him to Navadvip, and he can give news to all the devotees that Lord Chaitanya has returned. In this way, he can do more service. And they asked Lord Chaitanya, we're thinking of sending somebody to Navadvip to let them know that you have returned. Is that okay? He said, yeah, you do as you like. So, Lord Chaitanya, he's omniscient, he knows that they were sending Kala Krishnadas. But here, you see, the devotees are more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, you have to go, because you become attracted to Maya. But the devotees thought, let's try to engage him in service. And he continued on. And he continued on and became a nice devotee. Yeah. So, is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, here, we have one question here.
Prabhuji, regarding this book distribution, so what are the important follow-up work we have to do after the books getting distributed? How much it is equally important, or?
Oh yeah, follow up is so important, because we're planting seeds. There's one devotee who, previous to his coming to Krishna consciousness, he was a Mormon. You know about Mormons? Do they have Mormons here in South India? Mormons they're a Christian group, and they're very good at follow up. They go, they continuously visit these people that they contact, and they become Mormons. Many of them become Mormons from this. Jehovah's Witnesses as well. You've heard of the Jehovah's Witnesses? They come here probably, yeah. So they're very good at follow up. And this devotee that with the Mormons, he said, as devotees, we're very good at getting the message out, but we're not very good at follow up. And this is something that's very good when we do door to door. When you do door to door, you have their address right there, and you've visited them at their home. So that's a big advantage when we do door to door, with the follow up. Not long ago I was in San Diego, and I met one young man from Russia, and he was very interested. So I got his contact information, and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and I was calling him and inviting him to the temple, and he started coming to the temple, and eventually he moved into the temple, and now he's one of the biggest book distributors in America. So it's possible. This follow-up is so important, because they're in Maya. They don't know what's good for them, just like we didn't know what was good for them. So if we give association, then eventually, hopefully, they'll become attracted and take to Krishna consciousness. But yeah, when you plant a seed, the seed has to be watered. Right? If the seed isn't watered, then the plant won't grow. So this follow-up means we're watering the seed. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.